One of the most striking things to me today about the Indian city is that it is characterized by movement and circulation more generally. And let me just sketch out two such meanings, two possible meanings of this. One is that, which is pretty obvious, I think, is of migration histories and movements of people, the kind of journeys they undertake, and this is an extended urbanization we're talking about. So their journeys, in fact, cross villages and towns and cities and smaller towns and bigger cities. And so, in fact, form like this kind of ecosystem, one can say. And the journeys, in fact, connect these nodes, these different places that are important to them at different points in time. So one can expect and one can imagine that people who move a lot, and there are many of them who do, call many of these places home. And home means different things for people. For some, it's a means to sort of stability and security. For others, it's a place to assess what to do, the next move, what the next move should be. So a variety of different kinds of meanings of home. And so for us to really think about then these different modes of inhabiting and experiencing time and space, what do they mean then for the city? When we think of a city full of movement, does that shape and change the city in any substantial ways? A second possibility I want to give of movement is really to think about how the state, in fact, is also constituted by movements of people. So if we look at, for example, today, most large infrastructure projects are, in fact, undertaken by a battery of consultants. And in fact, many different departments are also constituted of different kinds of contractors and tasks that are outsourced to different people. And these move in and out, they circulate. And this circulation is also not one just of people, but also of ideas, of goods, of materials. These are assembled in different ways. So just two ways to consider how important movement is to Indian cities today, and to also then suggest that we need far better ways to think about how to understand them, how to study them. And here I think, in fact, there's a bit of a gap because the ways in which these are studied or recorded are quite inadequate. Most of our systems of study of data and data collection are focused and skewed much more towards the sedentary. And people who are on the move, in fact, don't feature very much. These are voices that are largely unheard. And to think about this, I and some of my work have actually, in a recent co-authored paper, we looked at this idea that Abdul Malik Simon has been talking about of itineraries, of how people, in fact, assemble itineraries through their journeys of self-making and city-making. And so making of the self, the pathways of social mobility that people construct, are then connected to the ways in which then places get built in certain ways. So I think the call here that that I'm making to other urbanists is really one of thinking then about the challenges of method and how we can in fact explore different ways to register, to record, to understand phenomena like these, using newer means, perhaps thinking about lived experiences of people, how they inhabit and live time and live place, and recording these in ways that then can better inform mainstream narratives.